everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, thank you so much for clicking on this video. I hope you enjoy it, and if you do, maybe you would consider hitting the like button, because it would greatly help out my YouTube channel. And even better still, maybe you could consider subscribing and coming back and watching more of my videos. I would love to have you as part of my YouTube family. And if you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate each and every one of you. So today I am working on the cover for my journal. I've decided that I'm doing it differently this time. I usually have a small journal on the go, and it is usually just a little one like this. And that's what I have. I have it on the go all the time. I use it as a journal, an art journal, just a place to collect my thoughts and play and enjoy myself. So this is the one section that I've got going on the go right now. It has this piece of vellum. It has things like this in it. So I do paper collaging. I just do multimedia in it. So I've decided that I now want my journals to have a cover, at least while I'm working on them. Someplace, I want this cover to be something that I can grab and I know my items are in there, and I can take the signatures out. So I want it to be something like a traveler's notebook, but I also want it to be a hardcover. So I'm going to do that today, and I'll show you the process while I'm doing it. So the first thing I've done is, this is a cover off of one of the, I did some of the stacked books, no cover books for Christmas, a little bit of Christmas decor. So I took the cover off of 3 books, and this is one of the covers. And this, I took it right down to bare bones. As you can see, here's a little bit of the I don't even know what this is. It's like a cheesecloth with a glue on it. But what I've done is, I have this tape, and it's just, my husband gave it to me. It was something that they use on their job site, but you can't tear it. I was inquiring about Tyvek, and he said he doesn't use Tyvek. He wasn't even sure what Tyvek was. So I said, do you have any kind of tape that's really, really strong? And he gave me this. It's really sticky. You can't, it doesn't matter what you do, you can't tear it. He doesn't know what the name of it is. They just get it from the supplier where they pick up their stuff. I don't even know what to say about it. I haven't got a name for it. I have that little bit. What I did was, I started here, I put it up, I wrapped it around this side, and I wrapped it back down to here, and then I cut it off even. And that is going to reinforce the spine. And that's all I wanted it to do. And luckily, it was just the width of the spine, so it literally goes from here to here. And there's no bulk. So I've pressed this down really, really good, and I'm going to start working on the outside of my cover. So the first thing that I'm going to do is put some texture on the cover, and I'm going to use a piece of an old dress pattern for that, because that type of tissue paper is a little bit stronger than regular tissue paper, and it's easy to work with. So I put some Mod Podge down. I just spread it out with an old key card, and I'm kind of flattening it out, and I'm putting a lot of Mod Podge on the top of it because there's a lot of wrinkles, and I'm trying to work the Mod Podge under the wrinkles and over top so that all of this will stick down and none of it will pick back up again. Now, I'm purposely keeping this one away from the edges, but I do a simple one layer on the back cover as well, and I go right to the edges when I do that. I'm not going to show it here though. I decided I better get a tray and put it underneath because I'm a messy crafter. Yeah, I'm a real messy crafter. And I was going to have to be cleaning my desk up every 2 minutes. So you can see there I did the back page, and it is just one layer with some nice wrinkles. Now I'm going to take this stamp, and it's a nice ampersand, and it has like a wood grain markings in it when you stamp it. And it's a really awesome stamp. And I just got it at Michael's. You know those bins where you get the discounted items just before you go through the checkout? So I got it there, and I think I paid, I don't even think I paid $2 for it. But I'm putting it on the back. I wanted some nice texture on the back. When you use a stamp like this, make sure that you run it off the page as well so that it looks like it's all over. Now, paper bits. I need some paper scraps that are going to look vintage once I ink the edges. So I'm just pulling out bunches of little, I have all kinds of stuff in here. But yeah, paper scraps. Everybody's got paper scraps. So I didn't know what I was going to use. So that's what I did. I just went through and I tossed a pile out so that I'd have everything that I needed. It's better to have too much when you get it out than too little, I think. So I'm going to go down, I'm working on the front cover, and I'm going to put paper scraps all the way down the left-hand edge there. I'm going to overlap them. I want all the edges to be torn except for the edge that goes along that piece that's attached to the spine. I want that piece to be left straight. And that's all I'm doing. So I'm kind of getting all the pieces and making sure that I've got what I wanted before I decide to start gluing this down, because so often you start gluing and then you're looking for another piece because you've changed your mind. And yeah, you see I've removed pieces and put other pieces down a couple of times now. So I have everything that I need, and I'm going to glue them down. I'm going to ink the edges. And then I'm going to add Mod Podge to the surface, the front surface of the cover, and to the back of the piece, and stick them down because there's so much texture on this. I want to make sure that I have contact everywhere. And that's all I'm going to do. I'm going to make a nice stack of ripped pieces. Once it's amazing how you can take a scrap of paper that has a white edge on it, because you tear it that way, and as soon as you ink up the edges, it just makes it look old and vintage. I love that about paper. There's so much you can do with it. Yeah, you can see I'm hesitating. I almost put that piece down and I forgot to ink it. I should have just gone through and inked them all, and then I could have just glued them straight down. But I had to ink each piece as I was going. I don't know what I was thinking. But working with paper is just, it's such an amazing and gratifying thing to do, to just take a bunch of garbage paper scraps and turn it into something that's so beautiful. And I mean, at this point, I'm loving the direction that this is going in already. I mean, sometimes you're not sure with a piece, but with this piece, like, I was this far and I knew I was in love with this book cover. So I'm taking a makeup sponge, and I just blobbed a bunch of Mod Podge onto it because Mod Podge seals as well. And I'm using it to go over the whole front to make sure everything is sealed down. And then I'm just going to put away the rest of these paper scraps till the next time I want them. Now I'm going to do something that I haven't done Oh, I'm going to just add a little. There were a couple of little edges that I thought needed a little bit of ink. But I'm going to use some modeling paste or some, it is called Grumbacher, if I'm saying that right, acrylic modeling paste. And it's just a prepared texture, a textural medium. And I am going to get a stencil that I think I picked it up at Dollar Tree, and they're little and they're flimsy and there's not a whole lot to them. But yeah, so I'm looking for the one I want, and I found it. And it's this big, long, it's a sticky back. I've never used this one. I'm actually just opening the package. But I'm going to stick it down along the right hand edge of that front cover. And then I'm going to put the modeling paste over top of it and peel it back up again. And once again, I just went to the thing that I grabbed for the most, an old key card. Or I think this one is actually a Starbucks gift card. These plastic cards are good for spreading almost all your mediums. They're great for spreading glue, texture paste, gesso. Yeah, it's so nice to just grab one and swipe it across the page and get the job done. I am having a ball working on this. It took me, it probably took me an hour or more, but so much fun. So here I have a bottle of Ranger's alcohol ink, and the color of this one is, let me see, does it have a color? It's called Butterscotch. I love it. I just love the color of this. So I kind of just used my paintbrush. I kept dropping it on the paintbrush, and I used it to go all around that stencil, that texture medium. And I tried to make sure that it had lots on there, and then I just let it flow over it all. Right now, what I'm doing is I'm taking a file. It's actually a metal file, and I'm going around the edge of the book, and I'm taking off the extra little bits of paper that are sticking over the edges, and just roughing the edge of the actual book cover, the original book cover, just a little bit, because that book wasn't worn. And that file just wore the edges down enough that they looked used. And I used my the little ink pad to go around the edges. So now I want to work on the inside. I can't leave the inside looking like this. It'll be just a mess. So I've got this really vintage looking green scrapbooking paper, and I got a piece for each side. And I'm going to use Mod Podge again. I thought it might stick down a little bit better if I put it on the page and the book and then put the two together. But I really, to tell you the honest truth, I don't think it made any difference with this side. So I didn't even bother to do it on the second side. I just put it down on the book cover and laid my paper into it. So it's overlapping into the spine a little wee bit. And I needed it to because I wasn't careful when I cut this book cover off. I could have done a little better job, and there were some kind of ratty edges just along the edge of the spine that I wanted to cover up. So I overlapped the paper a little bit, and I'm just trying to stretch that paper. I'm just trying to break the fibers down. That's all I was doing. Trying to break the fibers down by folding it and sticking it back down. Now I'm going to take another piece of that white tape that I used, and I'm just going to cover the center. And the inside's done. Now I can't have that stark white spine. I'm scraping stuff off my table. I actually should have left my tray up there, but yeah, I took it down too soon. Oh, gosh, I'm such a messy crafter. So I wiped the spine off really good, and I'm going to paint it. So I've got some green paint, and it's chalk paint from, I think it's Home Decor by Folk Art, and it's chalk paint in the color Spanish Moss. So I'm using a makeup sponge to put it on because the makeup sponge has that nice squared edge, and I can go along that edge on the. Okay, I am back. I have 2 coats of the green paint on here, and I'm not going to do any more than that. It's a little bit lighter in spots right here, but I think that was just because there was some glue on here. Another coat might take that away, but this is going to get damaged and worn and chipped and really old looking, and that's kind of what I want. So I have, what did I do with my little piece of paper? Oh, I've dropped it. There. So I have this little piece of paper. Now I am going to put elastics on this cover, and what I am going to do is I'm going to put some eyelets in. I'm going to use my what do you call this? It's the one that punches and it sets the eyelets. Anyway, so I have my eyelets out. I'm going to use silver ones. And I have this little paper. Now, it's just a tiny little paper. So what I've done is I cut myself a piece of paper, just a piece of scrapbooking paper that was as wide as my spine. Then I folded it in half, like that. Then I took this side and folded it in, and this side and folded it in, so that I had, and I gave it a really good crease. Then I opened up and I marked my lines with a pencil. So now what I've got is my spine divided in half, and I found the middle of each one of those halves. So I'm going to use this to line this up. And all I'm going to do, so I've got my punch on here. I'm going to take this and I'm going to line my punch up where that hole is. So check again. Yeah, so right there. So I've already set up the depth of how far in I want to go. So I've put myself a hole there. And I'm going to come over here. I'm going to put myself a hole. I'm going to go to the other end and I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to get this in here. Whoops. I'm going to get this in here. And I am going to line this up and move this over. And I'm going to punch my hole there. And I'm going to punch my hole right over here. Like that. So, not too much of my elastic is going to show on the back of my spine. It's just going to run across. All I want is two strings, 2 lines on here. I'm only ever going to have 2 of those little small notebook inserts. And what I'm going to do is put some eyelets on here. So I'm going to put my eyelet in here. See if I can set it that way. So I'm going to put my eyelet in first. Maybe I'll put both of them in. See, already my paint's starting to chip there, which is okie dokie with me. So I'm going to turn it over the right way, and I'm going to put that in there. And then I'm going to squeeze really tight. I'm going to put it in there, and I'm going to squeeze really tight. And I've got both those set. So I've got 2 eyelets there. I think it's because I have that tape underneath here that it's going to, and the paint hasn't had time to cure yet. So I may touch this up a teeny tiny bit. And then let it sit for like 24 hours before I go to use it, which I probably will. Once I get this put together, and I'll get my little booklets in here, I can let it sit on the bookshelf and finish curing. So this is what I have when I'm done. So you saw me put on the flowers, that like this bit of, I don't even know if you can see it. Can you see the texture in this? Okay, let's do this. See that texture? So I put in that flower stencil, which was really cool. But the texture, the stencil was so thin. It was a dollar store stencil, so it was so thin that I didn't get as thick of texture on this as I wanted to. But what I did was I put the butterscotch ink, the alcohol ink, on here, and I just let it run around everything. Then I took, and I don't think I showed this, then I took this metallic wax from Alchemy, Art Alchemy, in the rose gold, and I rubbed that there. So I have all this gorgeous, I have this shine, I have this gorgeous, and I know it's matte, but yeah, this cover is so me. I love it, love it, love it, love it. So now what I'm going to do, I'm going to take, that's my front, so I want my knot in my back one. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to put it from the back, or from the inside to the outside, and the outside to the inside. Now I'll get that about the halfway mark. Then I'm going to do the same thing at the other end. I'm going to go here and here. I'm going to go back in. Now the elastic that I'm using is, I have no idea where I got it, so I could tell you. I have 3 or 4 of these in different colors in my drawer, and I don't know what they came off of. I really don't care. They're big, they're heavy, they'll hold an art journal notebook really, really good. I'm going to make that as tight as I can, and there's enough play there. So I'm going to cut some of these off. That's really, really tight, and there I have it. So now, all I have to do is put my notebooks in here. So I have this one that I'm working in the middle. Somewhere in here is the middle. There it is. And I am going to put this one in here and see how it fits. And I'm going to grab this one and I'm going to find my middle. Where's my middle? Right here. And I'm also going to put it in here and see how it fits. And I have my journal. I don't need this to have an elastic on it or anything. This isn't going to leave my house. Oh my gosh, look at this. This is so cool. This is so cool. I love it. I absolutely love it. Now I may put a pocket in here to slide, you know, sometimes you just find a little tag or something like that when you're out and about and you want to bring it home and put it somewhere to where you're going to use it. Or if I want to keep a ticket or things like that. If I want to keep little mementos in here till I actually use them when I do a page. I love this. I absolutely love this. This is gorgeous. And this cover is perfect because almost all my pages are 8.5 inches this way. Nothing is ever any bigger because if it is, I cut it down. I have smaller pages, but I never have bigger pages. I have all kinds of, I even have black paper in this one. I have all kinds of yummy goodness in here. And I can't wait till I fill these books. So my plan is to just get myself a box. And as I fill my journals, I'm just going to put the date on the front, or the year. I might just put the year. I don't care. I usually put the date when I do something. I write it somewhere in here. I'll at least put the month and the year. So I'm just going to throw them all into a box and keep them that way instead of having a whole bunch of notebooks. And then I'm always going to have this yummy, yummy cover on my journal that I'm working on. And I love this. I love this. It's fantastic. There's one thing left to put on here. And I've had it upside down sitting over here. I have a from Tim Holtz. They are the Ideology quote chips. So I went through all the biggest ones, and I thought of all the different words that I could put on here, or, you know, quotes or whatever. And to me, this absolutely describes what I put in my journals, etc. I put everything and a little bit extra in my journals. So this is going to get glued right on here, but I'm going to use E6000 for that. And that's the finishing touch. It's absolutely the finishing touch. I just took the quote chip, and this is actually made out of chipboard, really, really thick chipboard. Like, these things are hard, and they're one of the coolest things that I have bought for my craft. So I'm going to use a little E6000 and put this on here to make sure that it sticks. I'll probably put my hot glue gun on and stick it down on both ends with some hot glue and put some E6000 in the middle to make sure that it doesn't come off of here, because with the inks and the Mod Podge and everything else that's on the front of here, I was just worried that it might pop off. And that's where that's going to go, and it's done. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. Let YouTube know that you liked it. And by all means, share it with somebody that you think might want a little bit of inspiration or a new idea. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button if you're not already a subscriber. Join my YouTube family and come along with me on my crafting journey. And let me know what you think of this in the comments down below. So bye-bye for now, everybody. Have a really, really great day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.